So hello and welcome to another inspired podcast of Good Fat Life. And I'm really excited with our guest today. We're in the same business, kind of, but not really.
Right.
I mean, right? It's
same but different.
Same but different. And that makes it very fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll just jump right in. So my guest today is Christel Meyer, and she has a magazine called Stroll. Stroll? Yeah.
Stroll, Pointe.
And Stroll, Pointe. Mm-hmm. So, Christel, tell me, how did this happen?
It's kind of funny. It kind of fell in my lap.
Yeah.
And so, I've been a physical therapist for years.
Okay.
That was my first love. And when 2020 happened, I was just like, peace out. I can't do this anymore. I'm done. So I went back to school and I became an esthetician. At the age of 49, I was the oldest girl in class, which was super fun, being...
Has this something you've always wanted to do?
My daughter, she's a cosmetologist. She does my hair, and she's just like,
she does a
Mom,
great job.
Thank you. Thank you. And she's like, Mom, you could be a skin therapist rather than a physical therapist. I'm like, okay. So I went into that and became licensed. And went out on my own after a couple of years of being, in the business. And I was reaching out to Jenny Eifler, who owns the South Lyon publication for Hidden Lake. And it was an Instagram ad I saw. And I'm like, heck yeah, I want to be in front of an influential community and market my business. And we just chatted and she's like, I said, yeah, it's probably not a good time right now because I'm on my own and I'm just starting. And she's like, that's not a problem. Have you ever thought of doing something like I do? And I was just like, I don't really know what you do. And
so she owned the publication in
South Lyon.
South Lyon.
Mm-hmm.
Is it also called Stroll?
It is.
Okay,
it's called Stroll Hidden Lake. So
okay.
we're both franchisee owners.
Okay.
Yeah, of the publication. And so from that point, it was a crazy ride, and here I am.
So did it just kind of start talking to you?
Yeah, it did. It was interesting. My dad passed away when I was 22, and I've always felt after he passed that every job I got, I was just like, oh, thanks, Dad. It was like super easy. Do you need me to come in and interview? Oh, no, you got the job. I'm like, okay. And that's just how my, working career was. It was just really easy. And my cousin, Pamela, who lives in Virginia, gets one of these publications in her community. Because I didn't know about this.
Okay.
I'd never heard of it. Yeah, because it only goes to affluent neighborhoods. And she's like, Christel, we love Stroll. Like, we get excited when it comes to our doorstep. I use it as my buyer's guide. Like, you need to investigate this. And so I did. And I said to my husband, I want to try this. And he's like, are you crazy? You just went to school. Like, now you're off to the other thing. Like, come on. And I was just like, I really want to try this. And he said, you're just going to do it anyway. So, okay.
But isn't it interesting? It's so interesting to me how there's, and I don't know why this conversation's come up a lot in the past week because there's been some challenges, some big challenges in the last week. And yet it kind of always ends with exactly, well, we're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
We're going to do it because we can't not do it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, then quit. Don't do this anymore if you don't want to do it. But then it's like, but I can't not do it.
Right. And the funny thing is I just felt like I was being pushed.
Okay.
Or carried. That feeling like you have someone just kind of like doing this.
Yeah.
And I told my husband, I'm not sleeping. I cannot not stop thinking about this. And I talked to my cousin. I said, do you think I'm like letting go of a great opportunity? And she's like, yeah, I think you do. This would change your life. And like those different little, I don't know, you call them signs, nudges, all that. And so I reached I mean, the first interview was hilarious because I wanted my husband to do this with me. And we're both on, a speakerphone talking to this headhunter. And he's like, you're going to have to quit your job. This ramp up is going to be quite, rigorous. You're going to do 10 meetings a week. You're going to be making, 150 phone calls a week. There's no time to be working.
Okay.
And my husband says, this is stupid. We're not doing this. And I think it's stupid you're doing it. And I was like so embarrassed. I'm like, can I redo this? And he's like, sure. So the next day I was just like, I can't let this go. I have to do this. And so I was, it's funny. I was in the bathroom of my job and I was making a resume, and it was it had a headshot on it because I'm an esthetician. And I just erased everything, and I put Jenny Eifler from South Lyon told me about this position, and I just sent that. I'm like, I'm not trying for this. If they want me, they want me. They're going to get me. And he's just like, okay, I've never had a resume like this. This is interesting.
That's great.
He's like, you have a nice face.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And so I made it through the first interview and then the second interview. And then it's a different person each time. It was very rigorous. It was like a hour talk. And I think they're almost like personality tests to see, where your algorithm. And I make it to the third interview, and it's the region director of hiring.
Okay.
And so he's like, yeah, we're going to go forward with the fourth interview. And I said, I know there's only 4 interviews. So if I get the fourth, that kind of means, He's like, yeah, we're just going to make sure that, I said, wait, you're going to just make sure I don't have any, tattoos on my face and I have all my teeth, right? And he's like, you wouldn't be surprised, So funny. And so I said, Nick, I am one of those people that I have to give people at least 2 weeks notice that I'm not coming to work. I'm not one of those people that just doesn't show up.
Right.
And so he's like, yeah, okay. I said, if I get this position, can you please tell me when I would be starting? And it's all on Zoom now. It used to be in person, but now it's all Zoom. And he's like, yeah, you would be starting March 27th. And I said, really? That's funny. And he's like, why? And I said, that's my dad's birthday. And so I was just like, that's who's carrying me.
It was another sign that
that's who's been pushing me. Yeah. Yeah.
You probably don't know this, behind me is my grandpa.
Okay.
And it's been like grandpa whisperer the whole time.
Yeah. When you sit and listen, you can hear a lot.
It wasn't on my radar.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
yeah.
Anyways, well, so here you are. It's been a year.
Yes.
Okay.
A year. November is our 1 year. Here.
Yeah.
Good. Kind of like
of the. I know it's all backwards. Okay.
Yeah,
that was your first. Okay.
This was our first family. We photographed it in August.
And what an amazing family to have as your first family, right?
So wonderful to have met them, and they're just wonderful. And so I wanted to celebrate in November our first year. So that's tonight, but in a week when this is out, it'll be a week past. So it's past tense.
Okay, all right. But tonight you have your 1 year anniversary celebration.
Yes.
Well, that's very cool.
Yeah.
So what is my head's kind of spinning. It does that at times.
You're fine.
No, we just have very different. We both have a media. Mm-hmm. We're both in media, right? Platform. Yep. But yours is very focused on just one community on Oak Pointe. Right?
Just on Oak Pointe. It's only about them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that gives you some real clear boundaries.
Oh, very clear.
In and I could see where that would be a lot of fun.
It is. It's so much fun. And just to meet, I just love meeting people. I love meeting people in businesses, and I love meeting people that live in Oak Point, outside of Oak Point. Like, I'm just a people person. And in the end, my goal is to create, and it sounds sappy, but to create a love letter for them each month that is mailed to them, and they get excited to see it. And it just makes me happy.
Got it. We're quarterly, and I find quarterly is a lot of work, right? It's a lot of, and there's the other, but the other side of that is, like I see things, and I'm sure you're just kind of on hyper focus all the time of when the minute you see something, you go, oh, would our community and our audience love this? Right. And so it's we have to be highly curated because we just don't have the space.
Yeah.
So it's like every morning I'm like, oh, that could be cool. That could be, and then it's like, oh, but will that be relevant for the next issue? Okay. It's relevant today, but may not be relevant, in January, February, or March.
Right. Totally. And so that's where kind of that timeline, because as you know, print it's not like digital media where you could just put it right out.
Right.
I'm doing the January publication right now. I have December ready to be approved. And so now I'm doing January. So as soon as I finish a publication, I'm starting a publication, and I'm doing meetings with businesses to grow my business. So, it's a lot of things happening.
It's never ending. And that whole thing is like, okay, well, if it's just too much, don't do it. But I can't not do it. And the other thing that's just so cool is the people that you meet. And I know that I'm physically, mentally, spiritually, all of that so much better because of everybody I've met, and
100%
through putting it together. And that's the joy, right? Being able to share people's stories.
Absolutely it is. And I love your magazine. I came to your
work. More Wonder Please.
More Wonder Please,
right.
Which I've been telling everybody about that.
Oh, good.
I just had so much fun, and my friend Lacey had so much fun as well. And I was flipping through this. I'm like, I wonder if she'd mind if I stole some of this stuff.
Oh, no.
Your calendar. I love the calendar in there. I'm like, this would be great for the new year. Like, just to create like a, little calendar of little things that you could do each day for yourself. I thought that was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's so much fun to do because I literally, you're collecting all the time.
Yes.
Right. And then just laying it all out and like, what would people enjoy and what's inspiring? What inspires me? You know? And that, of course. Steal away. No, there's a term for it. It's not stealing. It's I'll think of it. But
yes, it's something is the biggest flattery. Like,
but there's a swipe and deploy. But I taught creativity and innovation at the college level for years.
Oh wow!
And one of the things that was and the students had a hard time with this. Some of them. But what is true about creativity is that it builds, right? You have an idea, and your idea sparks something in me, and then we can add that on, and the next person, and the next person. And before you know it, you have this synergy or this thing that's so much bigger than what you started with. But if you hadn't started, but it requires that people also be generous and open to the process.
Right.
And it's a collaborative process, and be curious about where it can go, not like, well, that was my idea.
Right. Yeah. Right? Absolutely.
And it just takes, it's a mindset. That's what I found.
I love that.
So that was like when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so much fun. And there's some other people in the community that do publications that I think we should form publication
Ooh,
networking group.
that'd be fun.
Wouldn't-
I think that's great.
And especially since we're all doing something different.
Yeah. And I love people.
Right.
You never know.
You never know. That's right.
Sometimes
So,
I say, can we just be friends and not clients?
I don't know.
It's like,
I had to do that with one of my therapists when my daughter was in high school and we needed some outside help. But
Yeah.
I love my therapist so much. It was kind of like, because we couldn't be friends. It's like, okay, we'll just.
yeah.
So, it's all good. So where do you, do you have an overriding kind of like goal or intention that you're doing with this? Have you gotten there yet?
So the whole role of Stroll nationwide, we have 550 publications nationwide.
Okay.
And we go into affluent neighborhoods. And so really it's supposed to be Facebook and print. And I always say leave it to Beaver style, just really sweet, fun, something that's very positive. So in aspects of me writing this, it's at a minimal. Most of the residents are writing their own stories. And then I, send it to print and have my husband's my editor. He's a teacher, so he's really good at grammar. So he'll fix it, everybody's grammar. And so that's really great to have him by my side and to help, cultivate stories. And really, it's supposed to be from them. So I'm really, digging, trying to find precious pets. And hey, do you know someone that would love to be on the cover and have a featured story? And so, the neighborhood is really excited to learn more about their neighbors because it's like an invitation. Like, hey, let's be friends.
Yeah. That's one of the things, like I go to, workshops or conferences. Mm-hmm. My favorite part is always, talking to the people. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love what I learn, but it's like, but can we have more talking time?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Can we have more networking? Because that's where you cultivate those.
That's where you learn the stories, right?
Yeah.
So, well, good. So so you have your 1-year anniversary tonight.
Yep.
Yeah. And then do you have do the 500 people get together at all? The 500 magazines around the country? Do you have a national national thing?
Yeah, so that's always in January because we have several brands within the Stroll. It's
Okay.
N2 is the organization. So if you've heard of Real Producers, that's in the Stroll lineage. There's Be Local, there's Greet. So there's several brands that are very similar to this, but this one's only for neighborhoods where the Be Local would go to, say, Livingston County.
Okay.
The Greet would go to only people that just purchased homes. So they're just different.
Very different perspectives. Well, so how does Neighbors fit into this?
So Neighbors has nothing to do.
But it's just a competitor?
It's
or another?
Just another publication. And so.
Okay.
But we're very different in aspects. They do have families within the county on the cover, where this is more meeting your neighbors within your community. So that's what makes it kind of different.
Okay. All right. And where our community is local and it's international.
Yes.
It can be, you can be anywhere, which I do enjoy, but it just makes it just is.
How far does your publication go out?
We're in Canada and the U.S., and then we have some subscribers in Australia and I want to say Scandinavia.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
So it is, and it's really fun when you get an email or something from somebody from another country, and you go, "Oh my gosh, okay." It is.
Oh my gosh.
But then we have a real local,
Yeah.
local as well.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
It's yeah, it is. But I'm like, I absolutely love how life can we can build on life,
Oh, yeah.
right? And so like you're now doing, I don't know, third, maybe fourth, I don't know, how many different things that you've done in your life, but they all build to where you are today.
Yeah, I'm a true believer where one door closes, another one opens. And if you ignore the sign, that's on you.
There was
If you're not listening,
right. There was a talk that Oprah did one day. I'll never forget it because I thought it was just brilliant. She was saying, the universe is going to whisper. You get a little whisper, a little sign, something, and you go, and then it'll get a little louder, and then till finally it's like the brick upside the head.
Absolutely.
And so true, when that door closes, it's the time to say,
What do I do?
It just means that there's something that's really amazing here out there for you if you can get quiet and listen.
Yeah, yeah. Being a therapist, physical therapist for 27 years, I would say that to all of my patients. Like, if you make it down the hall, you can go home. Like, you have to think that if you make it down the hall, you'll be able to go home. You'll have the stamina to be able to climb the steps, to be able to brush your teeth and standing. Like, that's the backbone of me listening to my own heart of it's there. If you see it and hear it, it's there.
It is. And that's what's so fun, right?
Yeah.
It makes you want to, you can't wait to get up in the morning.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, not too early in the morning.
Yeah.
So what would be one thing I like to always kind of close with is if somebody's kind of looking to do maybe something different, like you said, that you just go, I'm not doing physical therapy anymore. It's just what would be your kind of guidance?
I don't know. Like I said, this literally fell in my lap, and I guess it's looking at the opportunity and weighing it. And if your heart is telling you, this really, really seems fun, this seems exciting, this seems like something that would keep my interest, or it's like, I don't know. Because I know people are like, they never make a decision and they have to think. And if you're one of those, that opportunity is just, it's gone.
It's fun. I like the word scared-sided.
Scared-sided.
Right? If you're scared-sided, right?
Yeah.
Because you're excited about it, but it's still scary at the same time, but that's okay.
Yeah. But, I guess the best advice that I could give people is just to open your eyes and listen with your eyes. Listen with your ears. Listen with your soul. When you're sitting there in the silence and your heart is thinking about something, it's thinking about it for a reason. There's either a spirit with you, or it's your internal self telling you what you want. And if you're not listening to it, that's what's going to make you happy.
Right. It's we were talking about that, having headspace, right? But we have to create the quiet.
Yes.
And I think that's so important, and it's so easy to not do in the world we live in today. It's, just turn off all the social, the radios, the media, everything. Go for a walk.
I
Stare
joke,
at the wall.
I joke. I'm like, Christel's taking herself for a walk, and I go for an hour walk every morning, and I am just in love with
I love that.
being with the trees, and just kind of like, I don't know, I feel harmony when I'm doing that.
Right.
It's beautiful.
That is great. No, I love that. And it's been so beautiful out.
Yes.
So, okay, on that happy note, we're never done.
We're never done, and I'm so glad we know each other now with our cute little glasses. And
yes.
our cute little magazines and
all that's good. So I do want to take a moment, and we were talking about people who have changed our lives. Well, one of those people, and sorry, my eyes kind of watered. One of those people in my world is Dr. Rushford at Hands On Health Chiropractic. I was in to see him last week. I was like waiting outside the door kind of. But the reason I was there is because he has so inspired me. The things I love to do most are sitting. I mean, reading, fiber arts, writing, all of those kinds of things. And he has inspired me so much. And last week I was at Pilates. I did a line dancing class.
Oh, fun.
I cleared a space in my garden to do a pollinator garden.
Oh.
My husband and I started playing pickleball.
Cute.
And then there was something else. There were 5 things that I did that I realized are just becoming a way of life. But it's because, and I guess I overdid it a little bit, but that's okay, right?
Right.
It's okay. And, but because he's just inspired me so much about how important it is to move.
Yes.
And move. And now I can't imagine not moving.
I know.
Kind of all day, every day.
Yeah.
And on my body really, we were talking about it, my body really feels the difference when I don't move. And so I'm just so grateful to Hands on Health and for Dr. Rushford and his team there for just being who they are.
Aw.
And
He's a wonderful person. I've met with him.
And just the care that they provide and the inspiration that they provide, but just also the consistency, right? Because it does make a difference.
It does.
It makes a huge
100%.
difference. So go see Dr. Rushford's office, Hands on Health. They have amazing chiropractors and massage therapists there. And you feel better. I mean, even if you felt great walking in, you're going to feel better when you walk out. So anyways,
Love that.
So thank you again so much for being my guest. I know we have many fun adventures ahead. And I would like to encourage our guests to go check out goodfatlife.com. That's where we keep all the good stuff. And have a good fat day.